Hey everybody, it's Lori Broccoloni, HappyNaturalHorse.com, helping you help your horse stay sound and healthy using natural remedies. Anyways, I'm doing this live broadcast on the horse slaughter debate. Keeps on coming up. The bill, HR, I think it's HR 1918 or something. Hold on. It's HR 1942 that's in the House right now. It's a really good bill. But anyhow, let's go over here and show you. So this guy is from the NRA. Not the NRA, he's from the AQAHA, the American Quarter Horse Association, and he was on TV. And Susan Fitzgerald Michelle posted this about what this guy says about horse slaughter, okay? And he says that there is a market down in Florida for people to eat horse meat. Well, go for it. That's one way to get rid of people, because I don't know about you, even the horses that I've gotten for free, my herd, hey Henry, hey Debbie, they've I think every horse is, except for the horses in the wild, which we're not really supposed to slaughter anyway for meat, has ivermectin in it. And if you think about it, you know, there's controversy on each side about eating horse meat, but let's think about this, guys. Let's think about this. Hey Laura, hey Carol, let's think about this. Years ago, you could render your horse, and they would use that for meat, for dogs, an outbow, okay? But they no longer do that, okay? And the reason why is because ivermectin was introduced to the horses to kill parasites. Not my best option for a horse warmer, but these are all rendering plants that are opened now, and you can go to the states that you're in. There's, so Valley Proteins is in Baltimore, Maryland. I think they still render, but they cannot sell the horse at all for dog meat. They can't put it in human consumption. They could use the hooves, I think, for Jello, but I'm not positive. But years ago, they would use, hey Zach, they would use horses, and they would use the whole body of the horse. But think about it. Ivermectin, it's a nerve inhibitor. Did you know that this much, just like this fingernail, you see that? That little fingernail. You give that to your dog, you have a dead dog, okay? So Alpo can no longer use horse meat, okay? They just can't, because it'll kill their dogs. So, there went that market. Okay, so we have different ways to get rid of horses, but they're saying, this guy's saying, let's open them up for the meat, you know, so they could humanely be euthanized instead of going to Mexico and Canada. So, horse slaughter used to be in the United States, but it wasn't regulated very well, and there was a lot of bad things that happened to people in their towns that had the slaughter plants. There was a lot more. The murder incidents were up, a lot of angry employees. It was just the energy of it. So what can we do to prevent horses going to slaughter in Europe? And Europe right now is not taking as many horses as they used to, because they think, for some reason, that if in Canada they keep the horses for 6 months, and they give them just nothing but hay and water, and they're detoxing them, and they think that just by doing that they're cleaning the horse. Well, I hate to tell you, ivermectin, bute, and all the drugs, that steroids, everything that's kept in that horse, it stays in that horse's meat, okay? So, you know, eventually you just keep eating it, you'll eventually get cancer or something will happen to you. So horses aren't designed to be fed, you know, or to be eaten. So what can you do? So, I mean, this guy is just, to me, horses are our pets. They're our loved ones. And we just don't eat them in America. It's really not healthy food, to be honest with you. So, there is disposable options for getting rid of your horse. And there's other things that we can do to help the horses in our states to prevent horses from going to Canada. So a lot of people bury their horses. This guy says, oh, it would be toxic waste if we, you know, buried them and stuff like that. If, you know, no, really, if you have 5 acres, you can bury plenty of horses and not have to worry about it. I bury my horses. It only cost me $75. You could take them to Valley Protein. Like I said, you can go to your resource. It's at the Humane Society site. And you can see where you can, hey Bridget, where you can render your horses at. And these are the rendering, disposal, crematory. We have crematory now. And yes, they cost money. But all horses cost money. But, you know, you shouldn't have a horse that you can't take care of for the rest of your life. And the ones that are in the breeding business to sell them, you know, there's not really a big market for it right now. So they need to stop breeding. But they're not going to do that. And then you have your backyard horses. So you have cremation is probably the most expensive. They have horse burial. And then they have composting too. A lot of places compost now in Maryland. And rendering. But rendering horse products could be used in cattle feed. And near you may be willing to accept horses. The method of disposal is very regional dependent. Yeah, so I don't know if they render horses anymore. And it's Saturday, so I couldn't call. But if you go here, you have Tina Snyder. Let me go up here. And she has the bill, and I'm going to post this link below after the video ends, of, I mean, she rescued this little baby. He was tied to a tree people didn't know anything about. They got the horse for like $50 or something, and it's just a baby. They were riding it with their kids, and so they went and saved it. Thank God. But anyway, so Congress has the bill, Safeguard American Food Act, and that is the bill that stops the transportation of horses that go to horse slaughter. And in this video, she talks about the solutions that we can do right now in our states. Pennsylvania has one in place, but it hasn't been passed yet. And what it is basically it's a dog pound. You know, it's a dog pound. And there's plenty of farms that could be used for a humane society type of purchases. Whereas if you can't afford your horse, you can bring them there. If they can't rehome the horse to other rescues, or if they can't find a home for the horse within a matter of time, 2 months probably, they would humanely euthanize it. Okay? That's a better option than going to Mexico and starving and being beaten and having broken legs and then being stabbed in the neck and the withers and, you know, all this other stuff. That's a better option than going to the auction and selling it to kill buyers, you know. And we need, as horse owners, to go to our legislators and say something needs to be done. We don't want to bring slaughter back into the United States, but we want to set up animal compounds. You want to raise taxes. You want to, I hate taxing, but you have to tax the breeders. And you have to take away the incentive, as much as I hate to say it, of the tax write-off, which saved my life one year when I owned racehorses and I actually raced them. It's a total write-off. So because of that, there's always going to be overbreeding because it's a tax write-off, okay, as a business. So if they would just do away with that, then there'd probably be the end of horse racing, because there wouldn't be any incentive to have a tax write-off. And a lot of people would say, oh my God, you would ruin a billion-dollar industry. Yeah, you would. But maybe there's a way around it. Maybe we could just go ahead and, instead of dropping the tax write-off, maybe we could set up a fund for these compounds that could be set up in every state. And don't tell me we don't have room for them, because we do. Okay? I've seen plenty of abandoned farms and plenty of places that would be just fine for horses, that could be rendered, I mean, not rendered, but used like a dog pound. You know, you can't afford your horse, you take it there, the horse either finds a good home, or you can dispose of the horse humanely if it's too old and you just don't want to have to deal with it, okay? That's the best humane way. That's the most simplest way, okay? And you have to watch the video below this video that I'm going to show you, so you can see what to do. You can call your congressman and get this HR bill 1942 passed. It's called the SAFE Act pill. And that will stop all slaughter going to Canada and Mexico. So, and hopefully as soon as the wall gets built, that will stop too. Now, as painful as it is to put your horse down, if I had to get rid of my horses right now, I know I could probably find a really good home for my pony. My other horses that are older, I probably would put them down, because I don't want to have the risk of going into somebody else's hand and then having them risk going to slaughter. That's probably what I would do. But if there was a compound or a place I could take them to, or if I could find them a really good home, I would try that option first. But people just don't want all those options, you know. So, and it's scary. I used to, years ago, like 5 years ago, I used to bring in free horses, retrain them, and I would find them really good homes. And the last horse I brought here was a nutcase, because people don't tell you the truth about them. And unfortunately, it was the last horse I saved, because I literally she probably ended up in slaughter. And I can't do that to horses anymore. And I can't keep horses. I can't afford it. So the best bet is to get your legislators to open up these compounds, tax the breeders. Tax them. You know, tax the breeders. For every racehorse course that is, you've got Pimlico, you've got Laurel, you've got Charlestown. There's money, plenty of money there in the purses. You could take 10% of each purse. That's 10 races a day, 10% or 5%. Just take 5% of those 10 races and put it into a fund to help horses find better homes, set up euthanasia places, set up hay funds, set up places where you can castrate your stallions. Don't breed your mares. Just don't breed anymore. I mean, yeah, little foals are cute. My girlfriend, okay, she bred. I was like screaming at her. She goes, well, I said, you're living in a freaking, you know, you're basically homeless and you're breeding. You're stupid. And what happened? She ended up having to give the baby away. And thank God it's got a good place. But she couldn't even afford the baby. So, I mean, yeah, little babies are cute. Now, let me tell you something else about little babies, okay? Let me tell you something else on little babies. Raising a thoroughbred baby, unless you are on a really nice flat area and you're in a real good area that has, you know, great barns and great fencing and stuff like that, thoroughbred babies, you can breed them from a backyard and you're going to, you know, I tried, okay? Guess what? I got dead babies. You know why? Not because of their diet or anything. It's because they ran around like idiots and broke their legs. So, I mean, horses run through fence. Babies run through fence. Babies colic. Babies, I mean, a horse's life expectancy from the time he's a baby till the 4 years old, that's a critical time, okay? I've been going through the feed on Facebook in the last couple of weeks when a lot of babies have been born. And I've had friends that have had babies and they've died. And it's just happens, you know? So it's really not worth it to breed your horse. You know, there's a lot of good solutions out there. You could micromanage the breeding, breed to a really good stallion, and keep your mares, the best mare that you have, just to produce that one foal. And what are you producing it for? Okay? I can tell you another story. We were always taught, like, I was always taught by a trainer, and I don't even know where, that you make the horse. Okay? You make the horse. And we went to an auction because my daughter got into eventing, and we went up to Eilers, and there was a mare. This is why I went holistic, by the way. There was a mare there that had a baby. Now, we were looking for an event horse, and the pickings were kind of slim, but this mare came through, and it came through quickly because of the baby. And there was a guy there that was a friend of mine, so we bought her together, and with the baby. And we were going to make her an event horse. And so she was a brood mare, and we didn't know much about her. And my daughter ended up 36 out of the ASHA jumpers, out of the whole North American League. 36 out of like 300 riders. She was 36 in jumpers. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. She could have done even more. And we were told, because of the mare's conformation and stuff like that, oh, this mare is never going to do anything. She's built wrong, blah, blah, blah. My daughter used to kick ass at jumpers, okay? She did great in inventing. I mean, she won ribbons after ribbons with this mare because, you know, we knew that we make the horse, okay? The horse, you know, the mare, could she have used for barrel racing? No, but she was a great trail horse. She could have been a field hunter. She was used for eventing and jumpers and hunters. You could forget about it. She was too fast. But, you know, did I breed her again? Oh, yeah. And I lost the baby. Why? Because she didn't want to be bred again, and because I didn't have the facilities, and she ran and she slipped, and I had hard ground, and she broke her pelvis. I had to put her down. And so, and the baby that I had from her that I bought at the auction, Romeo, I was not holistic back then. I was into, you know, whatever the vets told me, and the horse grew and had issues and kept colicking, and I worked with my vet and fed it corn oil, B-Pop, all the other crap, Rice Bran. It was awful. And he died at 3 years old. He was my heart. And 2 weeks later, I learned all what I was giving him basically killed him. And so, you know, it was a learning experience. So, you know, having a little baby is a risk. It really is. So, it's not all that glorious as it can be. But if you love horses and you want to help horses, follow Tina Snyder. Call your congressman on the HR bill. Get it passed. Somewhere, somehow, we all have to get together and get these compounds built. We don't need horse slaughter in the United States. It'll just shed blood on the land, and we don't eat the meat anyway. Why would we eat meat that's poisoned? Okay? Like I said, I have 4 horses out there that were given to me. And every single one has had ivermectin in it. Every single one. This is before I got them. Of course, they haven't had ivermectin since. Now, is it still in their bloodstream? I have no idea. But it could be. It could be. And so, like I said, Alpo used to have horse meat. And horse prices were expensive back then because they could render the horse and use it in canned horse meat. That was fine. Okay? But they can't use it anymore because it kills dogs. So there really isn't a market for horse meat, you know? And plus, a lot of millennials and a lot of baby boomers are eating less and less meat. We're eating more fish. We're eating more protein from plant-based foods. We're eating healthier, okay? And we're getting off less meat. I mean, really, there's really no need for it. So go down, subscribe to the groups that have the Safe Act bill. There's one called the Safe Act bill. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Safe Act bill. I'll put horses because I know there's a site, and these women, they work tirelessly, and these auction houses that you know, everybody donates to. Okay? So, there it is. Right there. The SAFE Act, it's called SAFE Act, Food Safe Horse Coalition. Okay? And it's run by, so you could go here and sign up for this group and follow the group. She gives you all the numbers in every state to call. And it's a very, very good site. If I was to donate, this is where I would donate my money. Oh my God. Yeah, she posted this. Why safe horse? It's, I don't know about you. I would never eat horse meat. I mean, just never. Even the Indians didn't eat it. Great, Yvonne. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. See? So go to this site, join it, and follow it, and let your voice be heard. Yeah, I mean, these horses are not healthy at all. I mean, it's just not that they're using for slaughter. So, you know. Also, too, horses are expensive sometimes. They don't have to be. Right now, my horses aren't expensive. I own land, thank God, and have enough grass. I haven't fed them in like 2 days. I mean, they're eating grass. They don't need to be fed. I mean, I'll give them the Big Sky minerals, but that's about it. So, it's a tough call, you guys, but there are solutions, and we are the solutions. Okay, we are the solution. Okay, we just are. So volunteer at Horse Rescues. Share this video. Share the SAFE Act bill. I'm going to post it below. You know, Pennsylvania is probably going to be the first place that's going to open up the compound for the horses because they do have a bill in place. I don't know what happened to it. But, you know, that's going to be our first, I think, model to helping horses that are in need. And I know it falls on deaf ears to stop breeding, you know, but that's really the way to go, is to stop breeding. And if you have to get, I mean, I was devastated this week. People just, horses cost money, guys. So you have to put that in your budget. You have to work harder. You have to find ways to make money, give riding lessons or whatever, or just, you know, do what you can to keep your horses and work the way you know, put them into your budget, into your, you know, package. But otherwise, don't get a horse because, you know, it's not fair to the horse at all. And so, like a lot of people say, if we stop feeding the kill buyers and stop buying the horses from them, join groups that go and buy and bid against the kill buyers, those are the ones you want to give money to. And they euthanize a horse, usually at every auction. They find a horse that's too weak to live, that can't make the trip. It's not going to make the trip anyway.